What's going on? It is your girl, TampaMystic, and we are broadcasting live on the industry's most wanted podcast. I heard that we got Chicago in the building today. What's happening? He goes by the name of Kollege. What's good, family?
How you doing? Just chilling, enjoying Atlanta, beautiful scenery. Glad to be here.
Okay, nice to meet you, and I need you to talk big and loud so everybody can hear you. I'm just used to, I be yelling because I've been doing this for so long.
Right.
Give us that introduction one more time.
Definitely. My name is Kollege, from out of Chicago, Illinois, R&B singer, artist. Glad to be here in the A. Beautiful city, beautiful people. Enjoying the scenery here, so definitely.
So nice to meet you. Thank you guys for being here today. We got a lot to talk about. I really want everybody to know your journey. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
As a musician or an entertainer, you got to let people know your story.
Absolutely.
They got to know your journey. Are you originally from Chicago?
Definitely, yeah. More so the suburbs of Chicago. But,
okay.
As far as that, that's where I, started home, my skills and everything. So
yeah.
Chicago's home.
All right, so can we take it all the way back? I know you're still a young man, but let's take it back to the young days.
Absolutely.
What was life like for you growing up in Chicago?
Absolutely. Well, in terms of my story of Chicago, again, I grew up in the suburbs, so but I also had experience in time dealt with my grandparents, so they kind of lived a little bit towards more towards the city. So growing up, again, black man, kind of in that area, you see a lot of things that a lot of people don't see necessarily from that area. So I think definitely seeing the things that I saw, like including, I remember my grandmother died and there was so many things. I was like, okay, it really, you mature at a faster rate than most, people would at that time. So,
absolutely.
In terms of that, I really honed who I am today and, also drove me as a musician because I always think about where I come from and you got to be grounded and, and always, knowing that. So.
Absolutely. And that's why I like to always know, because I understand the things that you go through in your childhood up through teenage years into an adult is what molds you to who you are right now. Absolutely. So, how did music become that passion for you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, growing up in the house, my mom, she was, and, I grew up with my mom.
Yeah.
So, she always played Luther Vandross, Michael
Shout
Jackson.
out to Luther.
Yeah,
shout out to MJ.
Yeah,
that's like my era too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. And, I was always, a fan of R&B. I was always a fan of just musicality. So, having that and also, I also played, violin, viola. I also played that. Yeah. So,
That's amazing.
Definitely. So, I'm also experiencing the classical realm. So I was like, okay, how can I combine that to make it me? So, in terms of that, my mom's always had a big influence on me. And, to be honest, really, kickstarted, my love for music. That's where I get that from, definitely.
Shout out to your mom.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, that's having your family support you is the greatest thing ever.
Absolutely.
Because you want to grow up and do what you want to do and what you love, not be forced into doing this when you want to do that.
Right. Absolutely.
And to have your family, especially your mother who is so precious, to support you, that's such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Definitely. You never take that for granted. And you always, keep those relationships close to you because
absolutely.
When you advance in life, you always remember again where you come from. And, when you're grounded, you can go anywhere.
Absolutely. Listen, I lost my mother this year, and I'll tell you,
I'm so sorry to hear that.
That was I can't even explain.
Right.
I can't even explain that feeling. But at the same time, it gave me a huge sense of clarity, if that makes sense.
Right. Absolutely.
On life.
Absolutely.
Because it made me really realize that was my dad and I are very close and he's still living. But, your mother is who gives birth to you, know, and just losing her is just it's unexplainable.
Right.
So I'm so glad that you guys have a beautiful relationship.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely. So moving into your teenage years, what were you into? Playing sports. What was you doing?
Yeah, I'm kind of, I guess if as the kids say it, a square, because music has just always been my thing. But in terms of just all around interests. I was really big in my teenage years in basketball.
Okay. Yeah, you are kind of tall. You was a hooper.
Yeah, I remember I used to be like, Mom, I need to be 6 foot or something like that. So I thought I was going to be the next LeBron James, but it didn't happen like that. But, basketball, video games. But yeah, I was so locked in. And a lot of artists, I feel like they kind of find their niche, kind of toward in that 15.
Absolutely.
18,
I agree.
And for me, I was just I just knew it was always music because nothing really gave me and still gives me that drive. And like, you know, when you do something for like such a long time, you don't think about the time. I'm like, well, then that's your passion.
It is. Absolutely. I'm a big believer, and we all have a gift, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We all have a gift. Some people have multiple gifts, but whatever that is, if that matches up with what your passion is, then it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I watched an interview very recently, like probably earlier this week, and I don't even remember the guy's name, but he was talking about nobody is dumb, right? And he elaborated on that because, you know, sometimes you're in school and you might not get a certain subject. Other kids are like, oh, you're dumb or whatever. No, it's just because that doesn't interest you. So you're not going to excel at it. Think about anything that you are interested in. You're going to excel at it because you love doing it.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, but if there's, you know, if math is not your thing, which is not a strong point for me, I'm so glad I got a calculator. You know, like I'm not going to excel at it because it doesn't interest me. I get bored with it. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So same thing with your music. That's your passion.
Absolutely.
When did you really discover you could sing?
Oh man. I would say, you know, probably around like when I was 18, because you know, you always sing in the shower. You always, you know, do stuff like that.
Right. When you're by yourself.
Right.
You're experimenting and stuff. I get it.
Absolutely. So I would say, yeah, around like 18 when I really was like, okay, like, you know, because I always wanted to be a singer because I was always in the melody and R&B. But you find out like, okay, like I got something here. So again, you practice and, you know, you kind of teach yourself in most respects and regards. So that was the age I was like, let's do this.
That's awesome. So let's take it back to, you know, what was your favorite song or one of your favorite songs to sing, you know, when you were younger?
Oh, man, it would probably be Kim. I don't know if you know who that is. But,
absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
I think he was very underrated. I just think he didn't get the shine he deserved because he was so fire. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. It was like.
Just go ahead and sing it for us. Come on now.
It was like. I think about the day I met the perfect stranger. I think about us. And it was like something like that. I was like, okay, that was the first time that I was like, okay, like.
You felt that.
Yeah, I felt that. And he was real, like, he was very minimalistic, but you feel that type of music. So I was like, being R&B, it gave me a feeling. I was like, I want to invoke the same feeling into somebody else. So.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, like, I'm a lover of just music, period. I respect and love all genres, but R&B just has my heart.
Definitely.
You know, I grew up in an era, like, you know, my teenage years were like, I'm about to date myself. I graduated in 92, put it that way. You know what I'm saying? I graduated in 92. So, you know, my late teens, early 20s was in the 90s going into, you know, 2000. So, of course, you know, to me, that was a heavy era of when a lot of great R&B came out. And even prior to that, of course, like you mentioned, Luther Vandross and, of course, Al Green, and the list goes on. But, you know, I remember, you know, just those days of listening to R&B. And you can put that music on to this day and it still sounds good.
Absolutely. You know, and that's real music. When you, I remember one of the first things I learned about this. I was like, if I'm gonna do music, you have to write not songs, but you have to write life, because everybody bleeds. You know, everybody cries, everybody goes through pain.
Correct.
You know, you gotta have, you gotta stay grounded and understanding that we all feel the same thing, and you know, we're not really better than anybody else. We're all here to, you know, accomplish something, do something with our lives. So if you make a product that everybody can feel and connect to, then, you know, you got something there. So
absolutely, it'll last for a lifetime and beyond.
Absolutely.
And you know, music is just that universal language, like you said. We all love music, especially if you're actually talking about something that people can relate to.
Definitely.
They're going to feel it.
Absolutely.
You know, because I know, and I'm sure you do, and everybody, you know, these beautiful young ladies in here as well, when we go through certain things in life, me personally, whether it be a good time, a bad time, somewhere in between, music is my outlet.
Definitely.
It's like my mental therapy.
Absolutely.
You know, if I'm feeling a little sad or down, I might listen to something that's going to pick me up.
Right.
You know, and oddly enough, when I drive, I prefer to listen to calm music because then it doesn't make me want to drive like all crazy. Right. You know, because there's already enough people out there driving crazy as it is. Who was one of your favorite artists? I know you mentioned Kim, but who was one of your favorite artists, you know, growing up that you would love to pay homage to?
Oh, man. I'll probably say it have to be it would have to be for me Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson, if it wasn't for him, and I honestly mean this, you know, most people say that he is an inspiration, but if it wasn't for Michael Jackson, I don't even think that I would even, you know, be doing music, to be honest. You know, again, gain that love for it. And then he was someone that, again, misunderstood, but his work ethic, like if you understand how hard he works at something, and what you know, everybody sees, again, like what he did in the product, but how hard that man worked is like an inspiration. So
he was absolutely one of the greatest to ever do it. And
absolutely.
I don't know that I honestly ever heard a Michael Jackson song that I didn't like.
Oh, yeah.
You know, of course, we have some that are more favorites than others.
Right.
But they're just, he put out masterpieces every single time.
Absolutely. And for like, we don't even, I think we take this for granted, for 40 plus years. I mean, he had top 10 hits in 4 different decades. So that's, I mean, we may never see that. I don't think we'll see that again.
I don't believe so either.
Yeah. Again, he's just, I think he's the greatest artist who's ever lived. So.
Absolutely. So what are some of the things that you've been doing along your journey to really help build who you are as an artist? You know, because you and I both know this is not an easy business, right?
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of everything, a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of connections, a lot of networking, etc., to really build yourself in this business.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things that you've really been focused on as an artist to help get your name and your face and your music out there?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'll say my craft, because I take this extremely serious.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to the whole body of work, you know, how you conduct yourself in the studio, what you talk about, what you write about, what you sing about. And then, you know, in terms of what I've been doing and what I've always done, I was always in control of the means of operation. So when I started music, I was like, I have to get my own equipment. So everything I do, I mix, I write, I produce my own music.
You're in your own way.
Yeah. So
I love it.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So that was, you know, the first thing. And then, you know, to, you know, coincide with that is your work ethic, because like I kind of how I spoke about with Michael Jackson, again, if you're not going to, you know, put your all into this, then there's no point into, and not just music, but in anything you're trying to do.
Absolutely.
That's worthwhile, you know, and trying to be successful, and you have to put your head down, and you have to work. And again, there's going to be trials and tribulations, like
absolutely,
you know, in this business. So that's what I've been doing. And again, just anybody who's, you know, come along, who's loved my music, and I just try to, you know, be as kind-hearted as I can to them, because I remember, you know, you everybody starts from zero. So
absolutely, and I could tell you have a beautiful spirit, and your energy is amazing too. And that alone goes a long way.
Thank you so much.
Not just in this business, but in life, period. Because I tell people all the time, nobody wants to deal with someone who's a jerk. You know, we just don't.
Right.
You know, like there's enough craziness in this world that, you know, a simple hello or good morning could change someone's day.
Absolutely.
You know?
Definitely.
Putting your music on could change someone's day.
Absolutely.
You know?
And that's what I was even, like, kind of, you know, being conscious about, especially at this age, because when you're younger, you know, most people, they just want to make the music, you know, get their name out, and that rightfully so. But
absolutely,
you know, at this point, it's very, you know, important about what you put out, because
correct,
you know, people are listening to you. And
absolutely,
you know what you have to say. So you know,
and that's I have that discussion a lot, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I want to talk about it a little bit. You know, I talk to artists, and I'm like, you know, you can still put a great record out without having profanity on it.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, like.
Yeah.
I just think that if you are able to put a song out and you don't, and I'm not knocking it, because I like all kinds of music, but if you can come out of the studio having a song with no profanity in it, it's already ready to go.
Right.
You don't have to get your engineer to clean it up for you. Right. And it's radio ready for the whole world to listen to.
Absolutely. And that was even important, even with the SpaceX record. I was like, again, I'm a big fan of R&B. So I was like, if I'm going to write this song, and I don't really write. Every time I go into the studio, I'm freestyling it.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I first, you know, came up with the hook, I was like, all right, this feels classy, and I just let the music talk to me. So I'm not gonna, you know, people. You have to understand, people are gonna listen to it. So,
absolutely.
You know, it's very important.
So let's talk about the production side. I know you said you record yourself.
Definitely.
You mix and master all your own music.
Absolutely.
Like, what do you not do?
Yeah.
You write your music. Like, I think that is so dope, because who better to get your sound the way you want it than you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, kind of like what you said in that endeavor, it's hard to do. Again, like, it sounds like a lot, because when you're done with it, you're like, I just did all this. I just did like 4 jobs in one. But
right.
You know, I have to like I have kind of like OCD when it comes to music, and
you have to.
Yeah, like 12 hours, 14 hours studio days, and I'm just constantly, and this is kind of just something that I've done over repetition. So it's, you know, it doesn't mean being the most talented person in the world, because there's a lot of talented people that have no work ethic. So
correct.
It's just, you know, I just was like, I'm gonna beat you, you know, and I look at this as competition. I'm just gonna outwork you. So
absolutely, the grind is real, right?
Yeah.
We have to get up and get to it, and especially when you're doing what you love. You had mentioned earlier on in our conversation that you'll do it for hours and you don't even realize it because you do what you love.
Right.
You know, and when you, and a beautiful thing about all that is when you do what you love and you do it wholeheartedly and you do it the right way, then the money's going to come along with it.
Absolutely.
You know, like it's not all about the money, but it's nice when we start seeing it, right?
Right, definitely. You know, absolutely. I remember DJ Khaled in one of his interviews, he was like, when you work hard enough at something, you'll look up and you'll be like, man, like, again, we're like, the culture now is like chase the bag, and, you know, but, you know, when you chase what you're really here for and your purpose, that comes with it.
The money's going to come.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, one thing about me is I always mentor with people that are older than me or been doing this longer than me.
Absolutely.
And, you know, one of my OGs, shout out to Bigger Rankin, you know, he's been my mentor for 11 years in this music business. And I remember when we first started working together, my first big opportunity that I got to experience my first year in the business is I got to go on tour with him and 2 Chainz through Florida. And I remember him telling me during one of the stops, you know, he pulled me aside and we were talking, and I was like, I just want to learn it all. I want to soak it all in, not realizing it doesn't happen that quick.
Absolutely.
You know, 11 years later, I'm still learning. But he said that, you know, when you're in this music business for the love of it, the money's going to come.
Absolutely.
But if you're in it for the money, you're going to be disappointed because the money's not always going to be there.
Right. You know, it's never enough. Like, as human beings, it's like, again, when you touch the money, it's like, man, at first, but then, you know, human nature is just like, you want more and you want more and you want more. And like, we're so focused about getting to the finish line that's why, like, exactly what you said, every day is a journey.
It is.
You should always try to get better at something, even though if you think you're the best at something, there's always something that could be honed. So when you think,
that's right,
you know, like you reach that journey and it's just money, then it's kind of like what you said, you kind of lose the passion for it.
It's like, and then what?
Right. Yeah.
And then what?
Right.
You know, because I've realized throughout my years, and I always heard this when I was younger, but I'm a believer in it, that money can't buy you happiness.
Absolutely.
And it's really true. Like, before I started doing this full time, I was making great money on my job, but I didn't like the people I worked with. They were, you know, they just weren't nice people. I'll put it that way. And it got to the point where every day I just got up and I didn't want to be there.
Absolutely.
You know, and I was like, I felt like I was selling my soul for a dollar, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I got to do what I love, you know?
Yeah.
Have you been putting any, I know you got a single that we're going to check out, but have you along your journey put any full projects, albums, or EPs?
No, I've never put out a full project EP, and that's definitely, again, coming. That's already, again,
in the works.
Yeah, it's already in the vault, you know, because I was like, that was one thing I always wanted to do, because, you know, you put out singles just to kind of feel who your audience is.
Absolutely.
You know, so at this point in my career, I was like, all right, I've done all of this and kind of honed myself for like 4 years as an artist to be the best as I possibly can, and then you know, put your head down and then, you know, just go forth and put the work out. So
absolutely.
Definitely.
Let's switch back onto the production side. I wanted to ask you this earlier, and we started like we were having a great conversation. So I tend to like go here and then I go there and I come back. When you're listening to some instrumentals, what is it that usually captures your attention?
The beat, definitely. Like, I remember, Michael Jackson, he did an interview with like Oprah, and he did like a beatboxing like thing, and he was like, yeah, you know, he's like,
yes, exactly. I remember that.
Yeah, and he's just like a human beatbox, and I was like, okay, it's the beat that really drives it. You know, the melody is also important because,
of course,
you know, that's like the heartbeat of it. But, you know, when you have that beat, it's something about, like, if you hear a Michael Jackson record, it just makes you want to, you get kind of move.
It makes you feel good. Yeah, like, even if you can't dance, you think you can dance when mic is on, you know?
Right. Definitely.
Do you dance?
I used to dance, actually. I used to try to do some Chris Brown moves, you know.
Said I'm going to stick to the singing a little bit.
Absolutely.
That's dope. So you got a lot of music in your vault.
Too much. Way too much.
How often would you say that you're putting new music out?
Oh, man. Well, now, because this is my first single, you know, I would say for that tenure, for that time frame, it's about 1 month and a half for each single to market and market heavy. And then while, still simultaneously market those other songs.
Absolutely.
Music and then, project and everything. So
that's great.
Yeah,
You're doing it the right way. One thing that I really have studied about algorithms and stuff.
Absolutely.
Because that's what it's all about, is with, Spotify and Apple and even social media is about the algorithms. And one thing that I've learned with the playlisting and things of that nature is you have to consistently be putting music out in order to stay in the algorithm of the Spotify playlist and things like that. So that's great that you're not spacing it too far out, because we're very much in a single era.
Yeah, absolutely.
And while you're putting out new music, you can still be focused on pushing your main single, which we're going to check out in just a minute.
Absolutely.
You're doing it all the right way.
Appreciate it.
What else do you have coming up?
Well, definitely, again, we have performances, again, coming up and things of that nature. Again, more singles. I'm also writing and producing a lot for other artists as well. So,
awesome.
I'm really excited about, this time and just in life and, again, my career and everything like that. So, again, just they try to say celebrate the small wins, but, at this point in time, it's like, all right, but, continue to work. And then at a time, you can sit back and like, okay, like, look where we're at, look where I started. So,
and you will appreciate all that too. Definitely. The journey. One thing about life is we can't skip the struggle, right?
Right, absolutely.
There's going to be struggles with everything that we do in life, just life period, or, music or whatever we do. But once you overcome that, you look back and you appreciate it so much more because you worked hard for it. It wasn't just handed to you.
Right, absolutely. And I'm a firm believer of, the depth of your struggle determines the height of your success. So, I really, to be honest, I welcome struggle because.
Me too.
You know.
I like the challenge.
Yeah, I like the challenge. It's never like a winning feat when you climb the mountain and you're just automatically placed at the top. When you
correct.
When you climb the mountain and you went through the.
Oh yeah, we ain't taking a little tram up there. We walking all the way to the top. Yeah. I ain't running, but we walking.
Absolutely.
No, I absolutely agree. You appreciate it more.
Absolutely.
What is some of your future goals? Let's talk maybe just. We're coming towards the end of 2021. I can't believe these past 2 years have been such a blur, right? With the pandemic, and it's just been a lot. In the next maybe 2 to 3 years, where do you want to see yourself?
Definitely. Again, I have big goals. I set small goals for myself in increments, but definitely in 2 to 3 years, I want to be at least, a notable singer-songwriter. I would definitely want to work for, big names, write and produce for other artists as well.
Awesome.
Couple projects under my belt, things of that nature. I know people say Grammys, obviously that,
but all your hard work will put you there.
Right, absolutely. And then, it's also about the reputation. I want to just be known for someone who makes great music. And,
absolutely.
When I'm seeing, I don't want it to be about, X, Y, and Z. I just want it to be about the main focus and keep the main thing the main thing.
Absolutely. Well, I absolutely love your energy. I can tell that you really understand this business.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Which is a big part of it. Like,
absolutely.
There's a lot of artists, like you said earlier, that they just want to go straight to the top and they just want to record music. It's so much more than that.
Absolutely.
You have to understand this business because otherwise people will take advantage of you.
Definitely.
You're not going to get the money that's due to you if you don't have your business together.
Right. And I was even thinking a couple days ago, I was like, man, like artists, they kind of get a bad rep because, everybody, it's like, oh, everybody wants to be an artist now. But the time that is put into promotion, videos, songs, and again, you're doing that kind of, there's no guaranteed return.
Absolutely not. There's not.
Absolutely. So
it takes a lot.
Definitely. Just having belief, like you said in yourself, that if you don't have that, you're not going to go far in this business. So you have to have tough skin. That doesn't, like how you said, you don't have to be loud and rambunctious.
Absolutely. No. Right. Last thing, what is it that keeps college motivated?
My family and God. And,
yeah.
I always keep my family close, and I have a very tight-knit
have
family.
to.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Definitely. And I would say, like, I can't even really say music because music's always keeping me motivated, but it's more than that, so.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah. It's
like you said, your family and God, like you keep that first, everything else is going to be okay.
Absolutely.
We're still going to go through the struggles, but that's life. We're supposed to. It's not supposed to be an easy journey, right?
Definitely. Absolutely.
Again, it's what makes us appreciate all of our hard work is when we have to go through those scuffles. We can't skip over top of it.
Right.
We got to go right through it.
Right.
Before we get into the song, I do need you to do a couple things for me, though.
Sure.
First of all, who do you want to shout out to?
I want to shout out, again, my mom's sitting right here.
Which one is your mom?
Right there.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. She's beautiful.
Absolutely.
She looked like your sister.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. And I also Hustle War Records, my independent label.
Awesome.
A-Way, Michi, Nike, K. Shout you guys out again, Chicago.
Everybody's supporting the movement.
Yeah, everybody's supporting my fans.
That's the hardest part of, I think, doing this is we're trying to remember everybody because people are like, you forgot me.
Right.
I'll be like, charge it to the game, not to my heart. You know, it's just sometimes we forget when we're on the spot, right?
Absolutely.
Where can people follow you at?
You can follow me at official.college on every single platform, website, officialcollege.com. You can find my new single there, videos, updates. You can join my fan club as well, emails, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, official.college.
Awesome. Last but not least, before we get into this song,
right.
We're live and direct today on the industry's most wanted podcast. I got Kollege here with me today, straight from the suburbs of Chicago, right?
Absolutely.
What makes you the industry's most wanted?
I feel that my knowledge and my work ethic makes me the industry's most wanted, especially in R&B. Again, I say this humbly and I say this with confidence that, again, I don't see a lot of artists that are my age that write, produce, mix, and master their own music. So
absolutely not.
You know.
Pat yourself on the back, bro.
Absolutely.
You're doing that. Well, definitely, much success and love to you. I appreciate you and your mom. And who else do we have here?
That's Miss Waller. That's, again, my aunt, and she's been absolutely wonderful.
It's so nice to have your family here with you today.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's so beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and get into this record. Can you give me a really dope introduction?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Again, this is Kollege, again, coming out of Chicago. This is my new single, SpaceX. I hope you guys enjoy it. Ladies, this one's for you.
Hey.
Industry's most wanted.
Slow. And I mean like space slow. Space. No latex. One request. Make no mess. Space. You won't forget it. You won't regret. Space. Never done a man, never ever like this. You never been with a man like this. I could take you to the stars. We could take a trip to Mars. And you ain't even gotta see it, 'cause I go from Jupiter to ooh yeah, we gon' play this. Oh yeah, listen baby. Space. No latex. One request. Make no mess. You space. You won't forget it. You won't regret. Space. My body on your body, feel the heat. I wanna see you sweat. I wanna feel you wet. So if you want some of this, lay your body next to me. Fill your mind with ecstasy. Baby, I see that look in your eyes. So let's soar to the skies. Come on, hop on the space ride. In the air, making sounds of night. Finna boom, scattered lights. No black hole, here say goodbye.